Hi, everybody. Liberty Ladies is back. We are doing our another dive in, and today we're diving in with one of our favorite Liberty Ladies, and that would be Makenze Cameron. She is the wife of Daniel Cameron. She's a mom of three, and she's going to be the wife of the next senator from Kentucky. And we're really excited. Makenze, welcome.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Pam and Laura, for bringing me on today to talk about the Senate race. We're just 1 week away from Election Day, which is both amazing and hard to believe at the same time. So I'm so glad to be here and talk with you all today.
All right, so let's start with a little bit of background. I know a lot of our ladies know who you are and where you come from, but not everybody does, and we're going to push this video out far and wide. Who are you and where do you come from?
I'm Makenze Cameron. I'm the proud wife of former Attorney General and Senate candidate Daniel Cameron, and mom to now three very precious boys, Theodore, Bennett, and Harrison. Theodore is 4. Bennett just turned 2 last week, and Harrison is 11 weeks old. So I'm
Wow.
working my way to my own basketball team here with my 3 boys and
That's
Daniel. So
awesome.
we're really busy. I grew up in Oldham County, right here in Crestwood, which is where we live now. I went to South Oldham High School and went to Western Kentucky University and was a school teacher in Oldham County for 6 years. And I have the true privilege of staying home with my boys now. Been married to Daniel for almost 6 years, which, I mean, time is flying by, and
Hmm.
yeah, we're just busy raising our kids and campaigning and trying to balance the two, and that's about it for me.
All right. So on the trail, Daniel has talked about he does the hard things, and we appreciate that. So sometimes that gets him into a little bit of trouble when it comes to protesters at your wedding. So we really kind of want to know what kind of wedding cake do you serve the protesters? But ultimately, what was that like in that part of your marriage and that just getting started? And here you've got lunatics on your front lawn. Tell us about how you guys get through stuff like that.
Yeah, our lives back in 2020, changed in so many different ways. A lot of people don't know this, but Daniel and I went on our first date at the end of January in 2020, and we were married in July of 2020.
Wow.
So 6 months to the day from our first date, I was walking down the aisle, and a lot of that had to do with protesters finding out about our wedding venue and trying to, threaten to show up at the wedding. And so we rearranged all of our plans. We were engaged for about 1 month. Um, Both Daniel and myself, we knew very early on in our relationship that this was it and this was right. And the Lord just crossed our paths in ways I never could have imagined. And so we were always going to be getting married kind of on a quicker timeline, but we originally planned for a fall wedding. And the protesters and different groups found, a registry I had made online and said, we're going to show up at the wedding. And so we moved it up to
That's
July,
sweet.
and it ended up being really sweet. It gave me an extra 6 months or so of being Daniel's wife. And, there's a difference, especially for us, there was a difference in being boyfriend and girlfriend or engaged versus being husband and wife. And so
Hmm.
getting to go through those challenges of 2020 as a married couple, I think was actually a gift from God.
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
we were lucky to be able to have each other to lean on, but it was just a very wild time. It was, we were afraid a little bit. We would have to leave our house, and Christmas Eve, we had to leave our house Christmas Eve that year because
Hmm.
they said they were going to come catch our American flag on fire. And um but it was all, I felt proud to be married to Daniel during that time because I knew he was going to do what was right regardless of what other people were saying to him. He wasn't going to
Right.
let being afraid or
Pressured.
fear get in the
Yeah.
way of making the tough choices,
Yeah.
which is really admirable. I mean, he's a man of courage and a man of conviction, and it was an honor to be by his side during that time. And we got to learn a lot during that year.
Hmm.
I think it's made our marriage stronger and our family stronger, and
Yeah.
um, ended up being a blessing, even though it was a little bit hard.
Yeah. So, and before I go further in our conversation, I want to introduce Mrs. Producer, Miss Laura O'Brien. She's the other lady on the call with us today, and she has been our fast and ready and always on the spot with good questions and everything. So, I just want to make sure we all say hello to Mrs. Producer. Hello.
Hi, Laura.
Laura
Hello.
O'Brien, yes,
Hi.
and she is
Oh,
a
I don't
force to
know.
be reckoned with in Oldham
Oh,
County
come
politics.
on. Hi, I'm here. I didn't want to be like a weird, creepy person in the background.
So anyway, she's also very involved in a lot of the local races here in Oldham County. So follow her on Facebook. She's amazing. So,
Thank
Lindsay,
you.
Mackenzie, tell us about your career. You were a teacher in the public school system, and I think a lot of people can like connect to that because we either had teachers we loved or there's a lot of teachers that feel like, they just don't have enough in the classroom. So, tell us about your experience as a teacher in the classroom.
Well, a lot of the reason I wanted to be a teacher was because I had really great teachers. I went to public school here in Oldham County at Camden Station Elementary and South Oldham Middle and South Oldham High School. And I was always what you would call the teacher's pet. I would
Hmm.
spend a lot of time trying to be helpful and pass out papers and do whatever the teachers needed. I spent a lot of time, trying to be the office aide and spent a lot of time with the guidance counselor. And I just really loved school and I loved the people of school and the teachers that I got to work with. And I always knew that if I wasn't a stay-at-home mom, that I wanted to be a teacher. And I knew I wanted to work back in Oldham County, just, give back to the community where I grew up and, you know, be a part of the school system that I really thrived in and loved so much. And so I taught fifth grade for 5 years and third grade for 1 year before I had my first son and
Okay.
started staying home with them. And it was a true gift. And one of the most fun parts about living back in Crestwood is getting to see some of my old students. I have one
Hmm.
student who works at the Burger King near our house, and I was picking up some dinner one night and I turned and he was right in the drive-through window. And then I was at another restaurant and I hear, "Hi, Mrs. Cameron." And it was one of my students and he was telling me about his soccer
Oh,
soccer game.
wow.
We go to church here in Crestwood. I get to see some of my old students. One of my old students just babysat for me the other day.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Cool.
so it's been really a gift to get to stay connected to so many people in the community. And
Hmm. I
I,
can I can still remember all of my elementary school teachers by name, and I have their face in my head. So, and it's been a few years since then. So tell us now. Now you're going to be the wife of one of the highest ranking Republican people in the state. What is that going to be like? What are you going to, do you think it'll change you guys, or what is that? What are you thinking about in that regard?
I a lot is to be determined. There's
Hmm.
only so much you can plan for when you just don't know necessarily what tomorrow's going to look like. And so I get asked a lot of questions. Are you going to live in DC? Are you going to live here? What is your plan? And I think we will be figuring it out day by day. I certainly I do think it will change us, but not in the ways that um, maybe people would expect.
Okay.
I think, especially Daniel, I know he will always be Daniel. He will always be the same man that you all see and I see. Um, but I do think
Mhm.
it will be different for our family. I mean, running for this office is a huge sacrifice for a family, especially a family that has young children. I mean, we would be spending a lot of time apart. And so I think that will change the way we interact with each other and the intentionality we have with one another and have with our children. And so I think there will be a lot of learning. And my hope is that, we grow stronger together as a family, even
Mhm.
if we are apart more than we like to be. The campaign trail has prepared us in a lot of ways because we're apart a lot more right now
Right.
than we would want to be, especially having a newborn. I
Hmm.
feel like, this is one of the harder seasons. We have three kids, four and under, and Daniel's on the road all day, every day. And it's truly because he believes in what he's saying.
Hmm.
And I believe in him, which is why I think I'm willing to make this sacrifice because I can't imagine anyone else better for this job or better to
Hmm.
represent Kentucky. And so, I was able to say, yes, we're willing to be a part and sacrifice time together because of the opportunity to serve God and the opportunity to
Hmm.
serve everyday Kentuckians. So I think we'll be the same. I mean, we are probably too normal at times. Somebody messaged me on Facebook. A lot of people are friends with me on Facebook and asked to come pick up a yard sign. So I sent them our address and, they show up and Daniel's out cutting the grass. I'm like, people might probably, might not
That's
expect that, but
awesome.
just, very much
Hmm.
a normal young family who doing the same things as everyday Kentuckians, which I think makes Daniel kind of unique for this role because I think he is experiencing a lot of the same things as the people he's talking to at these events.
Hmm.
We're deciding where our kids should go to school. We are budgeting and having to figure out what it looks like. I mean, I have a big SUV to fit all my kids, and I got gas the other day, and it was not cheap. And so
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
we're
And
dealing with a lot
diapers
of
are
the
not
same.
cheap.
Yeah,
You got two in diapers?
two in
Two in
diapers, two in
diapers. Those aren't
diapers.
cheap. Mrs.
Yeah,
Producer
no,
remembers. She,
yes.
it
And so
hasn't been
we're
that long.
yeah.
And
So I
Miss
think
Cameron,
we're go ahead.
Mackenzie, I was just gonna say, I think that that's awesome that you've got kids in the community. That's more than what a lot of people can say. Like your kids, I assume would go to Oldham County schools when they
Mhm.
get older.
Yeah,
I mean, so you are invested in this community
right,
already. And I don't think
Hmm.
people thought about that. The decisions that Daniel makes in, Washington, he'll know firsthand what we're dealing with here, especially in Oldham County.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Because
Our
Oldham County is not necessarily different than Fayette County or Bell County. I mean, we're all Kentuckians and
right,
everybody has kids and gas, gas pumps to deal with. So,
right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and I'll tell you, before I personally had made up my mind about who I wanted to work for in the Senate race, and I knew whoever, because I'm a worker bee, I have to go, I'm a campaigner, I got to go knock doors and talk to people and all that. So I'm at the Jefferson County Lincoln Day dinner, and Daniel's speaking, and Nate Morris is speaking, Andy Barr is speaking, and I'm looking and full of a room full of people, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to listen to each of these guys, and maybe it'll come to me what's going to happen. And they each spoke, and I thought to myself, you know what? I think Daniel Cameron is the only one in this race that really understands Kentucky. I
Hmm.
don't think Mr. Barr does. I think he's more focused on the federal. I'm not sure what Nate Morris is talking about. So I'm like, I'm going to go for Daniel. And I'd already worked for him for governor. So I already knew. So then when we did our dive in December with him, which was fantastic. And we've been able to use some of that content to kind of back down some of the crazy people. But he looked me in the eye and he said, I am my own man and I am a follower of Jesus Christ first. And I was like, okay, check, done,
Yeah.
done. I know already. That's it. That's it. So I'm very happy Liberty Ladies is endorsing Daniel for the race. We're in line with Raise Your Voice, which
Hmm.
they did an awesome survey. So they are got a lot of different candidates, but the one I was focused on was Daniel. So Okay, so is it when you think about how to do the campaign element, as you said, you're home with the youngins and Daniel's out and about. What do you want people to understand about Daniel as their next senator? What's, if you were to come up with like a closing argument, that's the point in the campaign where you're just telling people, vote for me because what, how do you finish that sentence for Daniel?
Well, I think I have probably three different pieces that wish I could tell every voter in
Well, you get to
Kentucky.
tell every voter because this is going to go
Good,
everywhere.
good. And you just said one of it. One of them right there is Daniel is his own man. He is not beholden to anyone, and anyone who doesn't agree with that can look at our campaign finance report and they will see that there's no special interest groups funneling, hundreds of thousands of dollars to our campaign. Daniel makes decisions based on his own convictions and based on what he believes would be best for every Kentuckian. And I think we don't have enough of that. And I think our representation should actually represent the everyday people of Kentucky. And I think what you see with Daniel is what you're going to get. I mean, if you look at some of the other person running for the race, you might see somebody who 5 years ago, 6 years ago was saying stuff that is very different than what they're saying now, or their voting record 4 years
Mm-hmm.
ago doesn't reflect what they're saying now,
Mm-hmm.
because it's an election year. And I think people change during election years to try and get as many votes as they can. And Daniel doesn't do that. If we don't win on May 19th, it is not going to be because he didn't try really hard,
Mm-hmm.
but he is going to be proud of the race he ran, and I'm going to be proud of him because he stuck to his ground the whole time. He said what he believed, he kept his messaging on his brand, and his brand represents who he is and his
Mm-hmm.
relationship with Jesus Christ. And so I think for my first point is that Daniel's his own man and he's
Mm-hmm.
going to represent you every day. He's not going to represent the big banks or the establishment or special interest groups. He's just going to represent Kentucky. My second is he is the hardest worker. Um, One thing that frustrates me the most, because I'm probably on social media more than I should be. Everyone says turn off your comments, but if you comment about Daniel, I probably see it. Um, and for some reason, people are trying to spread this narrative that maybe he didn't campaign well or he's not a good campaigner. And
I would
maybe
totally disagree with that.
I
He's
know, it's like the
awesome.
craziest thing. One of my
Oh.
neighbors came down the other day and said, asked me if I needed any help. And they said, we see on Facebook, he was like, Daniel is the hardest worker I know. And I said, thanks for saying that because it
Mm-hmm.
really meant a lot. But he's going to work hard. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he is up every day, 6 a.m., 5 a.m. The other night, he got up, our son Harrison still gets up maybe one or two times a night.
Mm-hmm.
And I got up to feed Harrison in the middle of the night, and Daniel got up and unloaded our dishwasher in the middle at 3 a.m. just so it would be unloaded for me the next day because he knew he
Aw.
wasn't going to be able to help. So he works hard to take care of our family.
Mm-hmm.
He works hard on the campaign trail, and he's going to work hard um, as your senator. I think we have
Mm-hmm.
a really unique opportunity in this election year to really elect somebody who will bring change, a new generation of leadership. I mean, somebody who's able to represent the everyday family because a part of, we are an everyday family.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who's inspirational. I mean, I could listen to him talk all day. I wish I could be on the campaign trail more right now,
Mm-hmm.
but he truly is somebody who,
We'll get you there because we got to get to November.
I
So we
know,
will
I know.
get you there.
Yeah, once my baby's sleeping through the night. Um, but we have a candidate who can bring real change. He's going to stand out in Washington. He's not the same as every other elected person. I mean, he's inspiring and he's wise and his faith in Christ is evident every day. And I think we have a real opportunity to elect somebody who can bring change. And I'm hopeful that on May 19th, he's our nominee. And then in November, we'll elect him as the next senator.
Well, there is no doubt in my mind in either case, because I think God is with us on this one. And I got to tell you, when I hear things like there's a slush fund in Congress to handle women who are sexually abused by Congress people, it is so gross. And then when I hear that somebody running for our senator actually voted to keep that quiet and closed when they had an opportunity to blow it wide open and make that kind of behavior go away. These are our elected officials. These are the people that we look to make our laws, and they are breaking our laws and then coming up with ways to pay off the victims. I mean, it's just oh, it's so gross. So that's one of the reasons why I firmly believe that Daniel is going to be, he's just, his strength and his conviction is like, no, we don't do that. We don't behave that way. So anyway, that's kind of what grosses me out. So Mackenzie, we have it's about almost quarter till. And we know you've got to do things and get things going. So what would be your final word to your voters?
I think my final message would be that we truly have a unique opportunity this election cycle. You know, these Senate seats don't open up a lot, and this Senate seat has been held for a long time, and so it's open for a new person to hold it. And I think Kentucky is ready for a change, and Kentucky is ready for new leadership. And I think Daniel would be the absolute best senator for Kentucky. And I know I see him every day. Daniel is the best person. He is as good as they come. He is patient, but he is strong and he's wise and he's so smart and he's so talented. And I
Hmm.
absolutely know that he has God God-given strengths and talents that would be used in this role. And I know even if he's not in this role, he's still going to use these strengths and gifts and talents to um, be a light for others. But I think we have a unique opportunity to elect somebody to the United States Senate that would
Hmm.
be a light for Kentucky. And my hope is that our people show up. I mean, I
Hmm.
think
Yeah.
we very much can win this. And if we
Yes.
do win this race, it's going to be, it's only would be attributed to God because
Yes.
we are being outspent by a lot.
Yes.
Um, you know, things are stacked against us right now, but what's not stacked against us is our support. I
Right.
mean, we have the support from everyday Kentuckians. I see the yard signs, I see the t-shirts,
Hmm.
I see the Facebook messages, we get the text. And we can do this, but only if our people show up on May 19th. I mean, you
Absolutely.
all know this, but turnout is
Huge. And
incredibly
we're
low.
working on
Yes,
that.
so turnout is going to be the biggest factor in this race. So continue to post online, text your friends and families, do whatever you can to get people to the polls. Early voting
Mhm.
starts in 2 days on Thursday. And
Right.
so we need people to show up because this is about Kentuckians. And
Hmm.
so people in Kentucky need to be responsible for electing their leadership.
Yes.
And that starts with just showing up and voting.
Yeah.
Um, and I can promise you that Daniel's not going to let you down. Um,
Hmm.
he's never let me down. And we've been
So
married for
I
almost
believe
6
that. So
years.
if people want to get involved with the campaign, let's say they've got a check that's just waiting to be written or a sign or something they could put out, where do they go?
CameronforKentucky.com will have our link to donate online, and it also has the mailing address to mail checks.
Okay.
And then I would encourage people to check out the Facebook page and follow the Facebook page.
Hmm.
You also can, there's a way to send the page to all of your friends and they can
Okay.
follow that way. So,
Okay.
like, I think if you go to the page, you can invite and you can invite your whole friend Like if
Okay.
you're friends with 800 people, you can invite all 800.
Yeah,
Um,
you can. You go to like follow, there's a an option. It says invite your friends to follow this page, and you can do it up to 1,000 at a time.
yes, that's great.
Wow. Awesome. Well, we
Yeah,
can do
so
that. We can do that all day.
right.
Yep.
So we're the grassroots campaign at this point. I mean,
Hmm.
we are on the ground, word of mouth, getting as many people to our events as we can. Daniel still has several events in the Kentucky First Tour.
Hmm.
So he'll be in
I'm headed over
Jefferson.
to the Jefferson County Republican Party meeting for this evening. I've already been to two today and one yesterday. So
That's amazing. Thank
yeah,
you so much. And
yeah.
I'll be at, Jefferson County on Friday, I think in Oldham on Monday. At least
Okay.
tentatively, my plan is to be there with the boys, so
Okay.
you'll see me running around.
We'll be, that's
Um,
fine. We're good.
yeah,
We're good with that.
but I think just checking out the Facebook page, checking out the website, that has the links to all of our events. I mean, at this point, we need word of mouth. I mean, if
Mhm.
everyone can just on their phones text out, we have a really great ad called Under God. I think that's it.
I love that ad. I
Yeah, me
love that
too.
ad.
Me
It's
too.
awesome.
And we have another ad that closing ad. And
Okay,
so I think
good.
texting that out to as many people. I mean, if every voter could hear from Daniel directly, he would win this thing in a landslide.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
no comparison in
Yeah,
candidate
absolutely.
quality.
No, you are
Um,
absolutely right.
but I think testimonials mean a lot. So,
Yes.
but
All
yeah,
right,
we can do it.
Mackenzie, it is time for you to go to your next thing, but we so much appreciate you and Godspeed.
Thank you.
Godspeed to get this campaign wrapped up. Let's get into November's campaign and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
let's get our senator into Washington, D.C.
Yes, ma'am. We
Mrs.
can do it.
Producer, anything else?
Nope, that's all I got. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mackenzie.
Thank you all for having me.
All right.
Talking with
Bye.
you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.